I'm Javaune Simpson and welcome back to SpeakUp. Yes, I know it has been a long time since you've actually seen me, specifically about 4 to 5 months. I know, because the last thing in which I spoke about was when it was back, when persons were running and all these things, and the whole big thing about Sha'Carri, Richardson and Elaine Thompson and Shelley and Fraser Price and all these things. That was the last topic which we spoke about. Anybody that you want to check that out, you can go ahead and check it out right there in the description. I'll leave the link to that video, right? But nevertheless, I want to talk to you about something totally different, right? I want to talk to you about, promises. And not necessarily promises to people or promises to yourself. Yes, you are a person, but I don't mean people out there, people out there. So I'm talking about, this person here. I'm talking about making a promise to yourself. And specifically, I'm talking about setting New Year's resolutions, right? A lot of persons do set New Year's resolutions, and sadly, I believe that some persons set New Year's resolutions simply because it is something that is socially expected of them to do at this particular time of the year, and so they do set New Year's resolutions that sometimes they really and truly don't stay true to, right? And I'm pretty guilty of that as well. Which is why for probably the last couple of years I haven't been setting any big thing really, other than thinking to myself that I need to improve on myself, really, improve on my relationship with God, and those are things that I generally want to get better anyways, right? So it doesn't matter, it's not necessarily because it's a new year coming up that I want to work on it, but simply because I think that those things are important, right? Relationship with God, maybe being a better person, all of these things, right? But nevertheless, let's get even deeper into it. So I would have mentioned a while ago that sometimes persons do set New Year's resolution simply because it is something that is socially accepted or expected rather, right? So on social media, you'll be on social media, you see persons posting, I got my New Year's resolution, and this is, these are the goals that I have, and I'm going to start a business, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to start driving, and I'm going to own my own house, and all of these things. Or, as soon as January 1st comes, you see persons putting up, tick off my bucket list, I just got this, or I just got this, or I just got this, and then persons are like, I need that, I need to do that, I need to set that as my New Year's resolution as well. And so when it comes to this time of the year, many persons get, I would say, sometimes anxious about what it is that they want to get done in the new year. Between November and December specifically, persons start thinking to themselves, what am I going to do, or what am I going to set for my New Year's resolution, right? And I believe that the fact that it becomes a little burdensome in that sense, I believe that it's perhaps because of the social expectation, right? Because society has that expectation of us that we should set New Year's resolution, no matter how crazy they sound, we should just set them, just for setting them sake, right? But in trying to avoid that, I believe that we have to perhaps be sincere about what it is that we're seeking to do, what it is that we're seeking to accomplish. If it is that we want to accomplish anything in particular for the new year, nobody is saying that you have to set out anything specifically just to accomplish for the new year. As I mentioned before, it could be as simple as you just want to be a better version of yourself, right? You could just want to formulate a better relationship with God, for example, or formulate a better relationship with your family members or your friends or your spouse, whoever it is, whatever it is, right? You probably have a pet and you probably just want to start take care of it better or more, whatever it is, right? That probably could be considered your New Year's resolution, right? But away from that, as I said before, try to not allow society to impact or just based on their expectation. That's the reason why you're setting a New Year resolution. It should be something that is personal, and not just something that is personal, but something that you really and truly think that you can truly acquire throughout the 1 year period, right? Because another thing that we have to try and avoid is the unnecessary stress or unnecessary borderline depression about New Year's resolutions. Like, imagine you set a New Year's resolution, like, for example, I'm going back to relationships again. You set a New Year's resolution like, I'm going to get married in 2022, but it's December 31st, for example, and you haven't even found a boyfriend or a girlfriend yet, right? You don't even feel socially connected to anybody, and you know within yourself that it takes some time for you to socialize first, get to like somebody secondly, and then perhaps move from liking the person to actually wanting to be with the person. All of these things, and you're expecting to do all of that in a year. I'm not saying that these things can. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I mean, you know yourself, right? If it is that you're having faith, that crazy faith, then fine. But I mean, we still have to try and be, somewhat realistic when it comes down to setting your goals and having plans as it pertains to your New Year's resolutions, right? So that's one of the things that I want us to actually keep in mind. Another thing is that stay true to them. So you set it, be true to it. You set, right, that you're going to do a particular thing, that you're going to start a business. Start planning. Start planning it from now, right? You might not get to launch your business in January, you might not get to launch it in February, but keep planning towards it. Set a goal, right? The goal might very well be January 1st, but in case it doesn't happen, then at least you will have, a plan thus far, and it might very well happen by January the 30th. You understand what I mean? Like, just be consistent with it, be true to it. Don't give up on it, right? Because things take time. Great things take, perhaps even more time. And always consistently apply faith. If it is that you're a faith-based person, I believe you should have, place faith in the midst of it, right? And as a faith-based person, because you can be a faith-based person in terms of having faith, but still not be a Christian. It's crazy to say, but yeah, I've met persons that have faith, but they aren't Christians, right? So I mean, have faith about the things that you want to accomplish. Hope and continue planning. Be intentional in whatever it is that you're trying to acquire, and don't seek to tell every single man and Jill woman about what it is that you're trying to acquire or what it is that you're trying to do, right? Because I mean, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but it just came to me like you do have dream killers, or you do have dream haters, right? I'm not trying to look at the negative side of society only, but I'm just trying, saying, we do have persons like that out there who will tell you, don't do that, you can put that off until next year, you're not gonna accomplish that in a year, whatever it is, right? Pretty much to basically what I was saying earlier, I made mention of the fact that perhaps you have faith, in acquiring or accomplishing certain things. I didn't say you can't do it, right? I said, perhaps you are pushing faith, and if it is that you're pushing faith, then fine, go ahead and have faith, right? But I also said that we should be realistic with certain things. But some persons will just try to shut it down immediately and say, yo, you can't do that, you can't accomplish it in a 1 month or in a 1 year. Or we are trying, let's say a COVID time now, if you want to start business. All of these things, right? So a lot of these things, you have to think about these things and try to be, you're not trying to be too secretive, but you still have to try and hold certain things on the inside, because some persons don't necessarily understand what it is that you're trying to achieve. They don't understand the purpose that you have within you. They don't understand what it is that you are called to do. And so because they don't understand these things, you can't expect them to understand what it is that you are looking forward to doing, what your vision is, what your goal is, what your aspirations are. You understand what I mean? So yeah, you can't expect a person to push your dream as much as you are pushing your dream, right? So don't look to people to motivate you for too long, right? Somebody might say something that is motivational to you today, but tomorrow they might very well say something that is contradictory to what they said yesterday, right? What are you going to do? Be motivated one day and then be torn down the other day? No. Hold on to that motivation and push forward, right? Only God should be able to tell you that you cannot do this particular thing, and if He's telling you that, it simply means that He has far better for you, right? Far better for you. But anyways, moving forward, staying true to the promising that you're making to yourself, right? And I say that also because sometimes as people we do set New Year's resolutions and it becomes a burden to us, Alright, and I say burden in terms of it becomes a stress, or it becomes a, something that pushes you to borderline depression, or even push you to full-blown depression, right? So let's say, for example, you said to yourself that I'm going to acquire a house or a piece of land by December the 31st of 2022. December the 30th comes around, and you are nowhere near that. By December the 30th, same way, about 11:30 p.m, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't socialize, go through the day, you don't want to socialize with nobody because you're like, you never get the house so many things, you never get time, you never do this, you never do that. Nah. As much as how we should push towards what it is that we would have planned to do, or what it is that we would have written down, we have to understand. And this is, this is something that I'll be honest with you, this is something that I've personally, had some time to struggle with, having patience. Especially since being a Christian, I realize that things don't happen in my time, it happens in the Lord's time. And therefore, I've had instances where I've just had to wait on things. Perhaps I expected it a particular time, and it was pushed back to another time. I had to wait, I got frustrated, and I'm like, yo, man, just give up on this thing altogether. Had to wait some more, and that's just a part of it, just understanding that, things don't happen how it is that you want it to happen, or when it is you want it to happen sometimes, right? So I guess one of the things that we have to keep in mind when we're actually setting New Year's resolutions is that, the tides change, the ship might be, on still waters, and it's going somewhere that you directed it to go at one point, but then, the tide changed, or the wind started blowing, right, and it pushed you to somewhere else, right, put you on another trajectory probably, right, and you get frustrated. I'm like, yo, when I go by yourself far, I never want to go by yourself, I never want to do that over this, and I never that many you really want, and about them time you want it, but you want it now, and you want it at times, and you want it align with this, and I want to align with that, and I want it align with that person there, because I want them to say, yo, me I do this, and whatever it is, right, and it throws you off, right. It's not as if you're not getting anything, because you're on your way to something better than what you had before still, but it's just not going where you wanted it to go. And because of that, you're frustrated, you're stressed, you're borderline depressed, or as I said before, full-blown depressed. These are things that we have to hold in mind as well. Be open to whatever it is that God wants to lead you to. That's pretty much what I will have to say. Thank you guys for being so supportive of me. I love all of you for being supportive. Thank you guys for keep on subscribing. I see that the numbers are, slowly but surely they're getting there, and I love that, right? Even though I'm not being consistent, I appreciate it. If you realize I went out and I got, courtesy of, J.O.S 2.8. Right, I want you guys to look out for this brand, because this is my thing that I'm trying to build as best as possible. Speaking about starting a business and all these things, if it is that you're interested in my business, I'll try to even put the link in the description there, where you can go on Instagram and check out other designs in which I would have done. Right, so I'm trying to be consistent with this thing. You see, I'm trying to build a brand, speak up, right? Because I want us to become this big community of speak uppers. If that makes sense. That makes sense? I don't know. You tell me. Alright, anyways, take care. Much love. Please enjoy your day. Please enjoy your new year. Please keep safe. Please. It's crazy out there. A lot of crazy people. Right? Even ourselves can be crazy at times. If you're driving, be extra careful. If you're walking, be extra careful. Yeah. Please. Much love. God bless.